everyone. Welcome to the Savvy Sales Lady Live. Let me turn the music down a little bit. You could be anywhere tonight, but you're here to learn a little bit more. And while we wait for people to jump on, we're talking about pain points, but not the pain points of the customers or of the prospects, but oftentimes we don't consider that we have pain points as sales reps. So tonight it's about you and your pain points. Can't wait to get into it with you. So we will be talking about the top 3 pain points salespeople face when calling prospects. I'm going to go down one by one to all of these so that, we can handle each and every one of them for you. And we're going to talk about not being able to reach the prospect by phone. Boy, this is becoming a bigger problem. Endless calls going straight to voicemail and not knowing how or when to transition to booking an appointment. So we're going to handle those 3 pain points that you have from your perspective tonight on the Savvy Sales Lady Live. So if you ever feel like your calls are going nowhere, then this episode is definitely for you. So the number 1 pain point is not being able to reach the prospect by phone. Now, if this sounds familiar to you, I bet it does. You are probably sick and tired of calling and calling and calling and hearing the phone ring and ring and ring, right? So there seems to be this new trend now that business people are not engaging their voicemail. They either don't have a voicemail or at their office, or they've turned it off, or they've turned it off on their cell phone as well. So you can't even leave a message. Is anyone having problems with that? Would you put that in the comment if you are having problems just reaching people? The phone just rings and rings and rings. So I know this is very distracting. It's very frustrating for you. And I've been experiencing it myself when I've been cold calling lately. And here's what I've ended up doing. So if they don't have voicemail, then I send them an email and let them know that, I tried to reach it by phone. I didn't get a voicemail. It sounds like you're very busy. Let me tell you why I'm calling. Hold on. It says I have an issue. Oh, it says the live stream isn't showing up on LinkedIn. Let's see if they will get that fixed. So I don't know why, but I got an error message that it's not streaming on LinkedIn. So those of you, just jump on YouTube. It's on YouTube and it's engaged in YouTube. I can see it. So one of the things that you can do is if it's ringing and ringing and ringing, you're not getting voicemail, then send them an email and say that you just tried to call, you didn't get voicemail, and you recognize that it's probably a very busy time for them. Here's why I attempted to call you. and leave a very brief, maybe one sentence about why you're calling, and then let them know in the email when you'll be calling back. I'll call you back tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hopefully, you'll be available to take my call. You want to make sure that you say that, okay? Because prospects are busy just like you're busy. So make sure that you do that. The other thing that you can do, and I've done too, is I've left them an in-mail message on LinkedIn. Hey, Sally, this is Christine Harrington with the Savvy Sales Lady. I just called your phone, your office phone, and it rang and rang. Unfortunately, I didn't get a voicemail, so I thought I'd reach out to you on LinkedIn. Here's why I'm calling. I'll give you a call tomorrow at 2 p.m. Hopefully, you'll be available to take my call. So basically, the same message, I'm leaving them in an email. I'm going onto LinkedIn and sending them an email with the very same type of message. Okay. So try that. Try that. All right. Now, I've gotten responses back of, no, I'm not interested, or it's a very bad time. Can you call back in 6 months? Or, I won't be available at 2:00. If you could call me on such and such day, such and such time, I'll be available. So I've gotten no response at all. So those are some of the things that I've done to try to reach out to people. Okay. Looking to see if it's reconnected on LinkedIn. It is not. Okay, pain point number 2. Endless calls that go straight to voicemail. I call this voicemail fatigue, all right? You keep calling and you keep sending voicemails or voice messages. You don't want to sound frustrated and robotic when you leave those voice messages. What I recommend is that you have about 3 or 4 different types of voicemail messages that you leave, and then rotate those messages. So if you call on Monday and you get voicemail, you leave a message. When you call back on Wednesday, if you haven't heard back from them, then go to message 2 and leave message 2. And then when you call back on Friday, then leave message 3. Then you're going to rotate that out to message 4 on Monday, and then message 1 on Wednesday, message 2 on Friday, etc. So in the beginning of cold calling, if you have not reached them, I always follow up in 48 hours. I don't let it go any longer than 48 hours. Now, if they're in the sales process already, I don't do a quick turnaround in 48 hours like that. And that's another discussion for another day. But if you're getting an endless loop of all you get is the prospect's voicemail, be prepared to have 4 voice messages already prepared that you can leave. Okay. Now, keep this in mind too. Your tone is very important. And you want your tone to be upbeat, and you want it to be concise. You want your voicemail to be short and confident, and only focusing on one clear message or benefit. All right. What you don't want to do is, talk about 2 or 3 different things in the voicemail message. They will absolutely not call you back then. So you can say something like, "Hi, John, it's Christine Harrington. I've got a quick idea that could help your team cut through the follow-up time in half. I'll try again tomorrow at 1 o'clock, or feel free to reach me at my phone number. And then I leave my phone number twice. So it just kind of creates curiosity. It keeps you in control, and it kind of teases value a little bit without giving away too much. So let me go through it again on the way I would really sound. Hi, John. It's Christine Harrington. I've got a quick idea that could help your team cut through follow-up time in half. Sounds like you're busy. I'll try again tomorrow at the same time, or feel free to reach me by phone. My phone number is, and then I leave my phone number twice and I hang up. So you want to be upbeat and positive, okay? And try to keep it under 30 seconds. Now, I've heard pushback by leaving voicemail, and that is, well, nobody ever listens to voicemail. They may not listen to it, but in today's technology time we're in, they get those voice messages in either a text message on their phone, where it's talk to text, or on their office phone. Even 20 years ago, when I was in insurance sales, if someone left a voicemail on my office phone, it sent the text of the voicemail to an email right to me if I was out of the office. So there is that technology out there. So keep that in mind. All right. Now, here's another reason why I am not a fan of calling, getting voicemail, then hanging up. When the prospect keeps seeing the same number over and over and over and over again, and you never leave a message, that prospect isn't going to call you back. As a matter of fact, it becomes a point where it feels like you're stalking them if you don't leave a voice message. Your voice message is a branding opportunity. It is telling that prospect who you are and what you're all about. Why would you hang up? Because you didn't get them on the phone. If your voice message is compelling enough, they will call you back. Now, here's another voice message that a lot of people have good success with. And it sounds like this. Hi, John. It's Christine Harrington. My number is, and then I leave my number twice. So you tell them who you are, but you don't tell them what it's about, and you give your voice message, your phone number twice. Lots of people have reported back to me that this works for them. That's not one that I use. I mean, I have a couple of times. I prefer the one that I gave you earlier. But try different types of voice messages. Don't leave the same voice message every time you call. Like I said, switch it up. Switch it up. All right. Now, before we get to the last point, I'd like to take a quick break. So hold on and I'll be right back. Imagine picking up the phone with total confidence and knowing what to say and how to say it. My Cold Call Masterclass has helped thousands of salespeople crush their goals and skyrocket their quotas. You'll walk away with my step-by-step method of how I close 26 deals in 9 days with only 52 prospects. And I've not done that once, I've done that many times. Ready to master cold calling? Why wait? Enroll in the Cold Calling Masterclass today, and you'll start closing deals tomorrow. Click the link below to join now. Let's make those calls count. I'll see you inside. Stay savvy. Okay, what I did for everyone that's watching right now, what I did, I gave you in the comments a link to click on the Cold Call Masterclass, and I opened it up for limited access on 2 modules. So you get to see and experience the Cold Call Masterclass in 2 modules for free. You'll have that access for 7 days. So all you have to do is go to that link and click on it and enroll in the course so you can at least see the 2 modules for free in the Savvy Sales Lady Cold Calling Masterclass. So go ahead and do that. All right. Now, let's get back to pain points that you face as a salesperson. And the last one is not knowing how or when to transition to booking an appointment. I hear this a lot in coaching. And matter of fact, all 3 of these pain points came from people that I have coached in the last 3 weeks. And that's why I decided I would go ahead and do a live on these 3 pain points that my clients experience as a sales rep. So number 3, in not knowing how or when to transition to booking an appointment. This one can be tricky if you're not picking up clues from the prospect that they're, somewhat interested in your product or service, or clues that they're going to buy. Now, what are buying clues? Buying clues are when they ask you questions, when they're coming back asking you questions in the conversation to understand what your product can do to help solve their pain point. So if you get to the point in the conversation when you freeze up, you're having a good conversation, but you're not quite sure when to pivot. So there could be this awkward silence. What should you do? All right. So you need a natural transition phrase that signals you're moving forward without sounding like a hard close, right? So you can try something like this. Based on what you've shared, I think a 15-minute call could help us go deeper. Does Thursday morning look good for you? Or you could say, where do you want to go from here? Would a 15-minute call or a 15-minute demo on Thursday seem reasonable? See, you want to flush out what it is. Are they in or are they out? You got to make it conversational, and you've got to say it with confidence. This gives them control of the schedule while you stay in control of the conversation. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? That statement alone, what are you doing when you say, does that make sense? I'm clarifying, right? I'm getting confirmation from you of a head yes or a no. Well, that's what you want to get from the prospect too. So let me say that again, okay? Here's how you transition. And keep in mind, everyone, that this is deeper in the conversation. What I hear all too often is the sales rep will start the conversation, ask a few questions, and then try to close. You've got to ask a lot of questions within the conversation in order to understand, can you help this prospect? And does this prospect really have a need or an issue that you can solve? So there's a lot of questions you need to have during that phone conversation to determine that. So when you feel like you've gotten enough information and you know that you can help the prospect, then you're going to transition by saying, based on what you've shared today, John, I think a 15-minute call could help us go deeper. How does Thursday morning look? And then John will tell you. And then you can come back and say, with a follow-up, would there be anyone else you'd like to invite on this meeting? That would be a really good way to determine, are there other decision makers? Okay. All right. You see, sales doesn't have to be this uphill battle all the time. All you have to do is think through how you would want someone to sell to you. It's about serving, not selling, right? And I don't know if you all know Harry Spate, but he's very good about serving, not selling. He's a good one to follow on LinkedIn. And gosh, I'm really sorry that the stream didn't connect on LinkedIn. It's fine on Facebook and it's fine on YouTube. So I don't know what the issues are, but I'm going to close for now. I am so happy that you joined me tonight. I hope this helped you quite a bit. And be sure to click on that link to get your free access to the limited access of the Cold Call Masterclass. Why don't you do that when we're finished? And then I'll see you on LinkedIn and YouTube and Facebook. Okay? All righty. You all have a very good evening and stay savvy. Thanks for joining me.